around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe. Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans? What language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous, just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African, wanna be Native American, what is the name of your tribe? What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history you are creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that is wrong and is illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Deny Africa all you want. You are Africans. That is how you got to America. You can claim America because that's all you know, but the blood flows through your veins. That blood that flows through your veins. That blood that makes you sing good. That blood that makes you dance good. That blood that gives you that rhythm. That blood that gives you boldness and bravery. That blood that gave you beauty, intelligence. That blood is from Africa. That blood flows through your veins just as it flows through my veins.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com to schedule a consultation.
I am not a slave, I was born to slide, I am not afraid. Hop about the K, oh yeah, free to God, they went out of state. I'm a child of God, I do not belong to the United States. Fuck Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to hell, I mean school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels for 'em. When I pull up, they pee how the roof gone. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit 'em, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. God, I can't stand this.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American. Making music would've thought I had help, but the Indians I know wanna be the chief they self.
right, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. And hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. You know your boy is demonetized and shadow banned. This is a crowd-funded operation. And if you appreciate the content, I appreciate y'all showing your support in the only way you can. Guys, I've warned you about this for a couple years now. I'm not sure how long some of you have been watching. We've got a lot of new viewers, but I've warned you guys about this for years. I was the modern day Paul Revere, but instead of the British are coming, the British are coming. It's the Africans are coming. The Africans are coming. And they're cosplaying and they're eating cats and dogs, but we're not going to get into all that. Y'all can see the stream I did on the Haitians eating pets in Ohio. Go ahead and check out the channel. But guys, I've warned you about this. Africans have been in bed with our oppressor. Africans and Europeans kind of had a pact. They kind of had a revisionist history agreement, if you will. They came up with a story and they allowed this false narrative to be promoted that white folks like snuck into Africa and, you know, were bear crawling through the jungle, and then they spotted an African and they threw a net on them and they grabbed them and chained them up and dragged them onto a slave boat. No, that wasn't the case. It's called the transatlantic slave trade. It's not called the Holy War. It's not called the mass invasion. Africans captured their fellow Africans and had them waiting on the coast for the Europeans to just come through and window shop. It was the Africans that first enslaved their fellow African and then sold them to foreigners. But guess what happened? Hundreds of years later, some of those black folks that made their way to North America and then mixed in with indigenous tribes on their fight for freedom, those folks became globally revered. They became global successes, global phenomenons. Everybody wants to be like a native black American, don't they? And imagine how much contempt and vitriol and disdain these Africans have. You guys were nothing but slaves that we sold to white folks, and now you're richer than us, and more popular than us, and more successful than us. And you create inventions that are revered the world over. Meanwhile, Africans are global failures. And I got to correct you, Tony. No, it's not that they allowed us to be captured. They captured some of our ancestors. It wasn't no white man sneaking in the bushes, stealing no Africans. It was the African in the bush stealing their fellow African. Look at this. It's all good, Tony. It's a lot of misinformation out there. We all grew up thinking that the white man just stole some Africans. No, it's called a slave trade. There was 2 consenting parties. The only person that did not give their consent was the captured individual. The African freely sold their fellow African to Europeans for trinkets, guns, muskets, beer, and mirrors. If you don't believe me, look it up. And guess what, guys? Guess what? Africans for decades have been scamming us with the save the children and feed the children and we are the world and we are the people. We going over there and building wells, and they're so corrupt that the money's going to the elites and the Africans are still poor. So they've been scamming us for a long time. The Nigerian scammers, the romance scams, the hush puppies, the Yahoo boys. Look it up. The year of return tourism scam. Hey guys, come over here and buy property in Africa because you're coming back to the mother. No, it was a scam. Black Americans went over there and got murdered by them Africans. Look it up. The only thing that Africans have had going for themselves, since they're revered as global failures, the only thing that Africans have going for themselves recently is their alleged kinship to us. Let me say that again clearly. The only thing the Africans have ever had going for themselves in recent years is their alleged kinship to us. So when we watch this video and this African woman is so triggered that Black Americans are discovering their Aboriginal roots, no, it's because they're losing the little bit of power they have. The only little bit of power they have that they're holding on to is their alleged kinship to us. So now that we're delineating, they're running around like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
We have to teach people who seems to be so lost. I cannot believe African Americans, please listen to me. If you are African American and you are denying your roots, I'm talking about those denying their roots. Because
hey, and peep game, y'all, peep game. The Africans want to convince Black Americans to identify as African, but they're not going over to the Dominicans and forcing an African identity onto them, right?
Reminder that Dominicans are not Black. We are not Black. And no matter how much Black Americans cry about it, we are not Black. We will never be Black. Yes, I look Black, but we are not Black. And it's just a reminder to Black Americans who are so pathetically forcing Dominicans to label themselves as Black. When we keep telling them we have our own culture, we know Black, papi, they still force it on us.
The descendants of African slaves in South America that say me no Black papi, the Africans don't have any issues with them not identifying as African. They don't call themselves African Dominicans, African Puerto Ricans, African Haitians, nothing of the sort. They don't call themselves African Jamaicans. They just say they're Jamaican, right? So why is it that Africans on the continent are only trying to force this African identity on Black Americans? Because we are the global successes. And the only thing Africans have going for themselves is their alleged kinship to us. Do you understand now? I hope you're starting to get it.
Thankfully, we have so many lovely African Americans who embrace their African roots, who knows where they came from, who are trying to go back to the motherland and educate themselves about their people, their history, and their culture. And there is a fair amount of people that also denying their roots. We are not forcing you to be Africans because you can deny it all you want, brother, sister. Go back to the motherland and you will see that you are just like any other African.
Why are they trying to convince us that we're the same when we're not? Most Black Americans have American Indian, Aboriginal, indigenous roots, not no fucking African roots. There's some of us who have indigenous roots and African admixture because 4% of the slaves during the transatlantic slave trade went to North America. And a lot of those African slaves, when they fled the plantation and revolted, they were adopted by indigenous tribes like the Seminole and the Creek and the Choctaw, et cetera, et cetera. But guys, a lot of us have zero African admixture. A lot of us are doing our genealogy. We're tracing our family tree, and we're not seeing any documentation that supports this claim of us being African. They've been reclassifying Black Indians in America since 1682. Virginia in 1682 passed 2 acts that combine Native Americans and Africans into one category as Negroes. So yes, clearly some Native Americans were richly melanated and looked a bit similar to Africans for them to be able to lump them in the same category and reclassify them, but we're not the same people. The Aboriginals of Australia look dark as hell like some Africans, but they're not African, are they? They're not the same people.
And African people in your country, you see them in America. We are one people. You are me and I'm you. Okay? And we are same, like it, hate it. It is what it is. But my concern is that you guys that deny your roots, you are starting to create false history. Ooh. And I'm not gonna sit down for that to happen. There is nothing I can do, but I will call you guys out. Because you are creating false history that can affect the next generation to come. If we don't put our foot down and stop this nonsense.
She's living in a third world impoverished shithole, and instead of fixing her country, trying to increase her earning potential, instead of doing anything that benefits her and her people, she's online trying to convince us to adopt an African identity and trying to convince us that we don't have American Indian roots.
It's gonna carry on, and the next generation and the next one to come are gonna start thinking that they are not from Africa. They're gonna preach that fake history to continue, and by the time you realize, Africa will keep shrinking and the people will keep shrinking, and we might finish.
That's not a problem. We don't care if Africa shrinks and the people. What the fuck is she talking about? The big ass continent, the largest continent in the world, Africa is going to shrink and the people are going to. We don't care, ma'am. Africa can be wiped off of the face of the earth tomorrow, and that does not affect Native Black Americans in the slightest. For those of us that do have some distant African ancestors, we don't give a damn about no Africa. You Africans that captured some of our ancestors and sold them to foreign Europeans for trinkets. Why would we? Guys, you know what this shit is? It's like when you got a dope fiend mama or daddy that like sells you or like gives you up for adoption, and then you become rich and famous, and here comes your dope fiend parent talking about we're family, right? Buy me a house, buy me a car, we're family, right? No.
So I am not going to sit down for that to happen, and none of us Africans are going to allow that. Please, if you deny Africa, that's okay. That's your problem.
Oh, you're not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Yeah, I had to cue the Kendrick one time.
But don't go around with that fake history you are giving. Stop it. You call yourself Native Americans, yet you don't even know your tribe.
What are you talking about? Look how emotional she is. She's emotional that we don't identify with a country we have never fucking been to. I ain't never been to Africa. My daddy ain't from Africa. My mama ain't from Africa. My grandmama ain't from Africa. Matter of fact, we know y'all don't even got your fucking paperwork. Y'all don't even got birth certificates. I got my family tree on my father's side traced back to the early 1800s. On my mother's side traced back to the late 1700s. And y'all don't even have birth certificates. And guess what? Not a single ancestor came from fucking Africa. So what are you smoking? She's so emotional. She's so upset because she knows as soon as we delineate, it's game over for them Africans.
Where is your tribe? What is the name of your tribe? What?
My tribe is the Muscogee Creek Nation, ma'am. My tribe is the Muscogee Creek Nation. Our ancestral homeland is in the Alabama region. We were comprised of a conglomerate of other tribes that split off, such as the Seminole. I know the name of my tribe. Is that it? Is that the test? Did I pass, guys? She thought that we didn't know the name of our tribes. What? Yeah. Not only do I know the name of my tribe, not only am I a full-time genealogist who meets with dozens of Black Americans and teaches them how to trace their family heritage, but God damn it, when we go through that paper trail, we don't see nothing that points to Africa. And if you haven't done your genealogy yet, I urge you to reach out and schedule a consultation while I'm still running the $75 promotion.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like, you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.
Yeah, y'all, this is crazy. This is wild. She's on the other side of the world trying to tell us we're not native and we're African. Bitch, you don't know our genealogy. You don't know our heritage. You don't know who we descend from, just like we don't know about yours. But you guess what the difference is? We don't care about you. We don't care about what tribe you're a part of or not a part of. We don't care whether you call yourself Nigerian or African or Igbo. We don't give a damn. But they care so much about us. They have a one-sided parasocial relationship with us, and it's disgusting. They're like serial stalkers.
Language do you speak, your so-called Native Americans?
I'm sorry, guys. She had another pop quiz for me. So the first question, she put me on the spot, guys. She really put me on the spot. She said, "Well, what is your Native American tribe?" Ma'am, Muscogee Creek Nation. Oh, well, what is the tribal language you speak? It's called Misvoki. Matter of fact, I take weekly virtual language classes with my tribe every Friday. Is this it? Is this the big test, y'all? Did I pass yet? Did we pass? She think we don't know the name of the tribe. She don't think we know the name of our tribal language. What
language do you guys speak? Because every single tribe or every single country in this world have their own language. So if you are indigenous,
that is false, ma'am. That is false. Every country's indigenous population has their own language. Every country that has been successfully colonized by foreign powers, they speak the language of the colonizer, which is why most of the world speaks English and most of South America speaks Spanish, and then Asia and all those other parts speak Mandarin, right? Right, guys? Y'all are over in Africa not speaking your native tongue. Y'all speaking French and shit. I done seen so many videos of Africans speaking French and speaking the Queen's English, but she want to talk to us about tribal indigenous languages.
Just as Red Indians, or sorry to say Native Americans, they have their own language. They have their own tribes. So Madam so-called African wanna be Native American, what is the name of your tribe?
Ma'am, I already answered. It's the Muscogee Creek Nation. Creek Nation for short. So what are you talking about? Does she not know how many black folks have their tribal citizenship intact? Does she not know that we know who we are and we have records over here and documentation? Does she not know I'm the king of receipts and I can pull up evidence to point to black Indians in America as early as the 1400s? Play with me if you want to. I do this for real. You up here online just emotional because your scam's coming to an end.
What is the name of your people? You coming up with some fake identity that is going to cause some crisis to our African identity. So please stop it. Stop with the fake history.
I told you guys, I warned you. She's upset. She's emotional because she thinks us delineating is causing a crisis to her African identity. Because again, the only thing they've ever had going for themselves is their alleged kinship to us. We know you're down bad. The more and more Black Americans do their genealogy and get in touch with their American Indian roots and further delineate from African migrants, the more you guys have to hold your own nuts. And if there's one thing you guys are incapable of doing, it's standing on your own 2 feet, picking yourself up by your bootstraps and holding on to your own nuts.
Creating. Please. It's serious, guys. You are really doing something that is wrong and is illegal.
The fuck are you talking about?
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused. I need somebody in the comment section, whoever is watching this video, to help me out. So during the first part, she was going off on the fact that, oh, Black Americans, you don't know really who you are. You think that you're Caucasian. You think that you're Native American. You're believing this false history. You're making up this false history. You don't really know who it is that you are. But since you want to say that you are Native American, then what is your tribe? Everybody that lives in a place that is indigenous, they have a tribe and they know their tribe. What is the name of your tribe? And then on top of knowing that tribe, what is the language of which that tribe speaks? Why are you not speaking that language? You gotta. And we move then to again stating that, hey, Black Americans, you don't know who it is that you actually are. So we have somebody else from a whole nother place trying to tell Black Americans who it is that they are. Even if we just so happen to do the research, we do the blood work, we trace our roots back on this land 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever amount of years. And I'm talking about hundreds. We trace those back. And we learn that we are a part of an indigenous tribe here. We learn about the language of which was spoken. Now, again, we don't have schools directly set up in everyday America to go learn these languages. If you want to learn these native languages, you have to more than likely go to a reservation where they still keep up with these languages every single day.
Exactly. And I can tell you, as a card-carrying American Indian, that only 5% of Native Americans speak their indigenous language. So when she's running around here talking about the red natives speak their language, but you don't speak your language, no, ma'am. Only 5% of American Indians speak their ancestral tongue. Most speak English and have adopted English surnames as well. That's what happens when you get colonized. Same thing going on over there in Africa, right?
With the writings every single day. So again, for her to try to state this shows that she lacks any form of knowledge on anything that is going on here, and she is just mouthing off and just saying whatever it is that she feels that she wants to say. But again, I find it quite odd and I find it quite funny that no matter whatever research Black people here in America will do to find out who it is that they are, where it is that they belong, everybody all over the world will tell Black Americans who it is that they are. Nobody finds that strange.
Come on, everybody has a vested interest either cosplaying our culture, grifting our culture, or trying to tell us what to identify as. Why? Because the biggest scam running for hundreds of years now is convincing us that we don't come from this land. Guys, if you're new to this broadcast, if you're new to my content, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. But I have a nickname, and it is the King of Receipts. And I have that nickname because I don't just get up here and talk. I show evidence. So why don't I bring up some evidence as to how our ancestors were speaking about Africa? You know, we had successful Black-owned cities and newspapers and lawyers and doctors and everything. And guess what? In our newspapers, we wrote about Africa. In the 1800s, early 1900s, our ancestors were very, very vocal about Africa and all these schemes to get us to quote unquote go back to Africa. And let's do a little bit of reading, shall we? Because at the end of the day, although these Africans may not realize it, reading is also fundamental.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let's take a little look. This right here is a newspaper clipping from Kansas City, Missouri. It says, disenfranchise the Negro and send him back to Africa? Absurd. Impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily to be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? Now y'all see why they call me the king of receipts, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Frederick Douglass, in his newspaper, wrote January 22nd, 1852, about Abraham Lincoln's colonization schemes. He had deportation and colonization schemes. He wanted to emancipate us and then deport us. And this is what Frederick Douglass wrote about. The colonization scheme. There is no sentiment more universally entertained, nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than that this is their own, their native land. And that here, for good or for evil, their destiny is to be wrought out. Identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years, this sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa. Yeah, our ancestors weren't just standing on business, they were standing on lineage. But let the African woman tell us, we got to be African. We got to identify as African. We got to call ourselves African American. No, me no African, mommy.
Nobody finds that strange. So at first, when we said that we were African American, then we had some people over there saying, no, you're not African Americans. So then once we're like, okay, whatever, we're just going to start from square one. So let's just start doing some blood work, some research, and finding out where it is that we came from. And a lot of us can trace our roots, again, back here. So then we have people in America telling us, oh, no, you're not Native American. It's possible for you to be Native American. The actual natives were the Mexicans and the Indians that were here because they originally had the land. Then you have white people. No, you can't be Native Americans. I know that I'm basically 60% Cherokee or Chickasaw and all this other type of stuff. I got my ticket from the $5 rolls, of which my great-great-grandpappy sat up there and paid for, even though we originally, too, are also immigrants. But it doesn't matter because I have more proof that I'm Native American than you. What do you actually have? So we have people out there in Latin America telling us that we're not Native American. We got white people who have fake Native American ancestry telling us that we're not Native American. Then we got people over there in Africa telling us that we're not Native American. This is looking a little bit weird here, guys. Like I said before, whenever it gets to a point where you got a multitude of people telling you that you are not something, something is up.
Do the knowledge, nigga.
Deny Africa all you want. You are Africans. That is how you got to America. You can claim America because that's all you know, but the blood flows through your veins. That blood that flows through your veins. That blood that makes you sing good. That blood that makes you dance good.
If it's African blood that makes us sing and dance good, then why don't Africans sing and dance as good as us?
Blood that gives you that rhythm. That blood that gives you boldness and bravery.
If African blood gives us boldness and bravery, why don't Africans display boldness and bravery?
That blood that gave you beauty, intelligence. That blood is from Africa. That blood flows through your veins just as it flows through my veins. We are one people. I'm not going to force you to accept it, but I'm telling you, and I will tell you, and I will keep telling you, and I will keep going on.
I wonder if you know that I know he's lying right now. Oh, you got the new Margellas? That's what's up, that's what's up. I see you. That's your BMW? That's nice. That's your girl? Golly. Okay, I see you. But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
Yeah, we sold some of y'all to the white man, but don't remember that blood is why you successful. 400, 500 years later, y'all successful because of that African blood some of y'all got from 700 years ago. I mean, all right. You see how they're desperately trying to cling on to us? You see how us delineating, us doing our genealogy, us discovering our ancestral heritage, do you see how this just makes them go crazy?
Please cut the crap. And if you are feeling some kind of broken about history and some kind of anger towards African people, it is not our fault. We are.
Oh, it's not your fault that you chose to enslave your fellow Africans and sell them to foreigners for muskets and beer and gunpowder and trinkets. Oh, it's not your fault. Oh, wait. The white man forced you to capture Africans and sell them to the. Oh, that's what it is. The white man made them enslave one another and sell them for. Oh, I got it.
We are not the enemy here, guys. We are not the enemies. You went through hell. Stop lying about history. Stop the false claims, please. Have some dignity and respect for African people, black people all over the world. If you don't want to.
But the funny thing is, they don't call themselves black people and they don't even identify as African. Africans don't call themselves Africans. Africans do not go anywhere in the world and say, "Hi, I'm African." They say, "I'm Somali, I'm Sudanese, I'm Congolese, I'm from Lithuania, I'm from Ethiopia." They don't even identify colloquially as Africans. So why are they trying to get us to? When we ain't never even been to Africa, our parents ain't from, grandparents ain't from, your great. These motherfuckers think we immigrants like how they are. I'm not no immigrant, girl.
You be one of us and you think that you are Caucasian or something. We know our people. You can bleach, you can change your nose, you can change your eyes, you can do whatever to be Caucasian. We know you. We know our people. Some of you lot, you have never even been to the motherland. What are you scared of? Go.
Maybe we don't like going to impoverished third world countries that have armed conflicts popping off and genocide and mutilation and rape and child trafficking and everything in between. Maybe we don't want to visit Africa for the same reason you guys are fleeing Africa. Or maybe we don't want to visit Africa the same way some of us don't want to visit Thailand. Or some of us don't want to visit Ireland. Or some of us don't want to visit Paris. Some of us don't want to go to Iran. Some of us are cool if we never go to Portugal because that's not where we're from. And we're fine where we're from.
Go and see. You know why you don't want to go? Because you don't want to face the truth. Because you know when you get to the motherland, you'll be ashamed of yourself. Because you're faking history. Fake identity you are creating on yourself. You claim not to be African. And that is why you cannot put your foot on the motherland because you know who you are. But for some reason, you deny it. But let me tell you, I'm not your enemy.
Oh, she's right, guys. Guys, she's getting through to me. I'm having a breakthrough. I'm starting to reflect on the choices that I have made. She's right. You know what, guys? Mike has never been to Africa. Never. And if I think about it, I'm sorry, guys, I need a moment. Oh, she's getting to me, y'all. Oh, no, she's right. If I think about it, the reason that I've never visited Africa is because I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to visit Africa because I know that I've been pretending to be Native American, but really I'm African. And if I step foot on the continent of Africa, I will feel the ancestors will shame me. Oh no, say oh no. She's right, guys. She's right. I'm forging documents. This isn't a real citizenship ID card. My child isn't a member of the tribe as well. My tribe hasn't cashed me out tens of thousands of dollars per the federal benefits. Guys, it's all an act. You know, us Black Americans, if we just look in the mirror, if we just start with the man in the mirror, we'll realize that we're actually African. Matter of fact, let's not even call ourselves African American. Let's just call ourselves Africans. I renounce my U.S. citizenship. I'm going to get a flight to Africa, guys. I'm going to Africa. I'm not going to be ashamed anymore. What is this bitch talking about, bro? What is this? She's really trying to shame us, gaslight the fuck out of us into convincing us that we're African. Ma'am, we do something called genealogy. Nowhere on my family tree is a musty African. Nowhere in the paperwork or the documentation is there any evidence going back to Africa. Stop the cap. But you know what I do find? My ancestor on the dolls roll. God damn it, before we even get to the dolls roll, we find the handwritten tribal documents of them being a part of what tribe? Creek Nation, March 3rd, 1905. Damn, I can willy-nilly, spur of the moment, bring up handwritten documents from my lineal ancestor written in 1905, but most of these Africans don't even have a birth certificate. Damn. Ancestors on the dolls roll and everything, have Creek by blood. I mean, damn, but we don't know who we are when we have a meticulous paper trail.
People are not your enemies. Okay? We all went through something. Actually, you lot were even lucky. You fought for your freedom. You had the opportunity to be superstars. You made billions, multiple.
See, you see the sick ass thinking of an African? They think we're lucky to have gone through slavery. They think we're lucky to have gone through oppression because at least we get to live in America, a first world country. Bitch, we built America. Stop the cap. We built the shit. Black Indians already laid the foundation before the 13 colonies were even set up. Look up the mound builders. Look up the southeastern woodland people. Every major city, San Francisco to New York, was a Black Indian settlement with pyramids, houses, agriculture, you name it. And the colonizers built on top of it and revised history. But she wants us to think what? She wants us to think that we should identify with a place we've never been and a place most of us have no desire to ever go.
Millions with your talent. And yet Africa was still suffering. Africa was being still destroyed, and still till now. Africa became the lab rat for these people, injecting all kinds of vaccine into our people. But you lot, you had the opportunity to ride in the dream car, work and explore your talents and make money off your talents. You should have brought that money to Africa to invest in Africa.
Wow, you selfish ass musty bitch. I'm sorry, excuse my French. Is free speech still allowed? You selfish, musty ass. What? We fought for everything we ever got. We bled for it and then some. We've been kicked out of generational wealth and opportunities for decades. We've been hit with glass ceilings. We've been hit with missed opportunity. We fought for every scrap that we got. And you think that we're lucky and we're privileged and we should take our money to Africa, to the people who sold some of our ancestors to European slave drivers? What? Yes, 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 you slaves. We captured you and we sold you to the white man, and now you are so rich and so successful. Say, oh, we want you to bring some of that money back to your original slave masters here in Africa. You know, the white man is benefiting from the success of the Black Americans, but we want to benefit from our slaves too.
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused. I need somebody in the comment section, whoever is watching this video, to help me out. So during the first part, she was going off on the fact that, oh, Black Americans, you don't know really who you are. You think that you're Caucasian. You think that you're Native American. You're believing this false history. You're making up this false history. You don't really know who it is that you are. But since you want to say that you are Native American, then what is your tribe? Everybody that lives in a place that is indigenous, they have a tribe and they know their tribe. What is the name of your tribe? And then on top of knowing their tribe, what is the language of which that tribe speaks? Why are you not speaking that language? Yada. And we move then to, again, stating that, hey, Black Americans, you don't know who it is that you actually are. So we have somebody else from a whole nother place trying to tell Black Americans who it is that they are. Even if we just so happen to do the research, we do the blood work, we trace our roots back on this land 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever amount of years. And I'm talking about hundreds. We trace those back. And we learn that we are a part of an indigenous tribe here. We learn about the language of which was spoken. Now, again, we don't have schools directly set up in everyday America to go learn these languages. If you want to learn these native languages, you have to more than likely go to a reservation where they still keep up with these languages every single day, with the writings every single day. So again, for her to try to state this shows that she lacks any form of knowledge on anything that is going on here, and she is just mouthing off and just saying whatever it is that she feels that she wants to say. But again, I find it quite odd and I find it quite funny that no matter whatever research Black people here in America will do to find out who it is that they are, where it is that they belong, everybody all over the world will tell Black Americans who it is that they are. Nobody finds that strange. Nobody finds that strange. So at first, when we said that we were African American, then we had some people over there saying, no, you're not African Americans. So then once we're like, okay, whatever, we're just going to start from square one. So let's just start doing some blood work, some research, and finding out where it is that we came from. And a lot of us can trace our roots, again, back here. So then we have people in America telling us, oh no, you're not Native American. It's possible for you to be Native American. The actual natives were the Mexicans and the Indians that were here because they originally had the land. Then you have white people. No, you can't be Native Americans. I know that I'm basically 16% Cherokee or Chickasaw and all this other type of stuff. I got my ticket from the $5 rolls, of which my great-great-grandpappy sat up there and paid for, even though we originally too are also immigrants. But it doesn't matter because I have more proof that I'm Native American than you. What do you actually have? So we have people out there in Latin America telling us that we're not Native American. We got white people who have fake Native American ancestry.
If you're looking to get genealogy consultation, I highly recommend Mike. You know, he was very thorough, prompt, very knowledgeable. Even taught me some stuff about the background of Indian ancestry and heritage that I didn't know. The biggest piece of it is he taught me how to pull records and really dig into those records to make sure that I have things to match up to be able to take back for my citizenship. So I really appreciate everything he does, and I highly recommend Mike as your genealogist.
Yeah, y'all, I don't know what's going on. They're just self-destructing. The more we delineate, the more we do our genealogy, the more we recognize that we ain't no damn Africans. Most of us do not descend from no damn Africans. The more they self-destruct on the internet. Them Africans have only had their alleged kinship to us as the closest thing to a modicum of success. And now that we're going our own way, they're left to their own devices. They're left with their own insecurity, their own inferiority, their own degeneracy. And good Lord, if I could close the borders, I'd make it so that all of you illegal migrants, African, Haitian, or Venezuelan, would stay in your own country. But guys, don't go anywhere. As soon as this broadcast ends, there's going to be a 10-second countdown, and the next stream will begin automatically. I'll see you over there in just a moment.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners. Raised up the children to worship their images. Set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.